Welcome back to the deep dive. So you sent over this piece, A Letter in the Rain. It's quite short, but really got me thinking about memory, connection, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's got layers, doesn't it? And maybe a touch of, destiny or something like that woven in.
Definitely. So let's maybe start by setting the scene. It kicks off with this really atmospheric description.
Right. It immediately puts you there. This rainy day, an old oak tree right near the library. Very cinematic feel, actually.
And Maya, the main character, she's been going to this tree, what, for the past 2 months?
That's right, 2 months. And there's this central mystery, isn't there? Every single Friday.
She finds a letter.
Exactly. An anonymous, handwritten letter just tucked into a hollow in the tree.
And the content of these letters, that's what's really hooks you, I think.
Totally. Because they're not just generic notes. They mention these tiny personal details about her.
Like humming when she reads, or drawing stars in her notebooks, things only someone who really knew her or watched her closely would pick up on.
Precisely. It makes you wonder, who is this person? It creates this real intimacy, but also, you know, it's a bit unsettling too, maybe.
A little bit, yeah. That feeling of being seen, but not knowing by who.
It really highlights how those small, maybe forgotten moments can stick with someone else.
Then comes the latest letter. And this one's different.
Big time. The anonymity drops.
He finally says who he is. Or, well, gives clues.
Yeah, strong clues.
Hey.
He says he was the boy who sat behind her in Mrs. Ray's class, remembered borrowing her pencil.
The pencil.
Yeah.
And never giving it back, which is kind of funny.
It is. And he mentions watching her in the school garden. Admits he's had feelings for a long time.
Wow, after all this time. And then he asks the big question.
Puts it right out there. Meet me next Friday, 5 p.m.
Sure.
Same tree.
What did you think when you read that reveal? That specific detail about the pencil, for instance?
Oh, the pencil is brilliant. It's such a small, tangible thing, isn't it? But it becomes this, anchor to their shared past.
Yeah, a key.
And just the vulnerability of finally saying all that after presumably years. It makes you think about, what ifs and second chances.
So the next Friday comes, still raining, of course. The rain feels like part of the story itself.
It really does. Creates this mood.
And then he arrives, the unnamed man. He's older, rain-soaked, but the description mentions his eyes. Familiar eyes.
That's such a powerful moment of recognition, isn't it? That eye contact after all the anonymous letters, it feels very grounding.
And Maya, her reaction is perfect. She breaks the silence, but not with anything heavy.
Just that playful line about the pencil.
Well, I believe you owe me a pencil.
Yeah.
It cuts through the tension beautifully, acknowledges their past with lightness.
It does. And then his response.
He actually has it. He pulls out the pencil he borrowed all those years ago.
Treats it like it's something precious, Says he kept it safe.
It implies he owes her more than just the pencil. It's quite a moment.
It really is. And her reply, too, about some people being unforgettable, it says so much about the quiet impact we can have on each other.
Yeah, sometimes without even knowing it at the time.
Then they start walking, right? Towards the old tea shop.
The familiar tea shop, yeah. Another link to their shared past, presumably from school days.
And the rain's still coming down, kind of cocooning them as they, start to reconnect. It feels like a rekindling.
The story then gives us a glimpse into Maya's journal entry later. That adds another layer.
It does. She reflects on it, saying it felt like meeting a forgotten version of herself.
Right, one who believed in, handwritten letters and patient love, slower things.
It raises that question, doesn't it? How much do we change over time? What parts of ourselves sort of fall away?
And she wonders, is this a totally new beginning for them? Or is it more like picking up something that was left unfinished years ago?
And the story doesn't really give a definitive answer, which I think is part of its charm. It leaves it open.
It really does. So thinking about A Letter in the Rain, it kind of makes you pause, doesn't it? Consider those small interactions in our own lives.
Yeah, the seemingly insignificant moments or shared glances, maybe they resonated more deeply for someone than we ever realized.
Exactly. What forgotten connections or, unspoken possibilities might be lingering in our own pasts. It's a nice reminder, I think.
A reminder of just how powerful, simple human connection and memory can be, enduring across time.